been making cabochons for 2 years, but nobody has ever showed me the right way to do it. Enter Zeke Dalrymple from Highland Park, Lapidary. He's done more cabs than most people in the world, so... Okay, so now we're going to make a cabochon, and we were able to pick out something from one of the bins. This is a Paul Bunyan plume agate. I don't actually have any of this at home. This is one that's cut. Isn't that pretty? Oh, yeah, that's gorgeous. Look at that. Oh, that's going to make such a pretty cab.
That is really pretty.
That's a pretty piece.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's going to be good.
Are we a little thin on that slab?
Looks a little thin to me. Trick, if you can teach me how to cut something that thin.
Yeah, that's no problem.
All right, well, let's just do that then. And if it's a disaster, start cutting another one. Okay, all right, we're going to do this one. Oh, so this is that aluminum pencil, huh? That works pretty slick.
I like that one.
All right, that's what we're doing right there. In order to cut the cabochon shape out of the slab, first you have to just kind of cut around the edges. And remember that the blade goes in a straight line, so there's not going to be any twists and turns here. You have to do it one little straight line at a time. After you've got that all done, then it's time to take it to the cabbing machine.
We got a little piece of the Paul Bunyan plume. We'll do a start by taking it around through the girdle. We're going to do a free form on this one.
So why didn't you go from this wheel to that wheel?
My wheels are out of order. This is an 80 grit centered wheel, 220 grit plated, and the expandable drum with a 220 grit on it.
Okay, so you're actually starting on...
Yeah, for most people this would be their first wheel. Yeah, just taking it around, doing a little flame shape. So now that we got a shape that I like, I will take it and do our dome on there. So I'm just going to roll it around the edge, doing it really shallow. You don't want to do big rolls like this, especially on a thin slab. Then I'll work it a little bit and I'll flip it around, make sure my girdle or my dome's even all the way around. And what I'm doing right now is I'm using the light. I'm using that reflection as I move it around. I don't know if you can see that, but I'm checking my dome with the reflection of the light. What I'm looking for is a smooth band of light to go across there. If it's choppy or there's a flat spot in there, then I know that I can see that there's a flat spot on my stone. That's how I check that without wiping it off for the first step. So I got a little bit of a flat spot right there. Alright, we're good to go.
Okay, now it's my turn. Jim's gonna film, Zeke's gonna coach, and I'm gonna give it a try.
Turn the stone like this, and you're going to tilt your head and look at the line on the side there.
Okay.
So put the light like that so you can see that line, and then you're going to push the edge of that wheel.
Just slightly angled?
I actually would start by doing it square, so there's no bevel.
Okay.
And then you can put the bevel on and you get your shape there. Okay. It won't take much.
Okay.
But that will allow you to go a lot faster.
Okay. Okay, so that's, I think, close enough?
It's entirely up to you.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I don't mind if it's a little bigger. still a very large flat spot.
That's because you're getting steeper and steeper like this. Instead of getting shallower and shallower.
I should be moving in.
Yeah, you should be moving in instead you're moving out and making it steep.
Bigger and bigger.
Yeah, you can see it's all pinching up right there. It's still thick right here.
Okay.
You get these corners really thick.
Alright, so I need to focus kind of on the center.
You need to, do tighter and tighter rings until you get the center. So start on the outer. You're going to work tighter and tighter and tighter until you get all the way to the middle.
Okay. Amazing.
We'll move on to the next step here. And now all I'm doing is repeating my process, cleaning up any of those flat spots and scratches, getting a little bit smoother before we move on to the 220 silicon carbide. This is also where I'm going to make sure that my dome is even all the way around on the girdle and clean up any little chipped areas. You're getting impatient.
No, I'm okay. I'm becoming a little stressed.
You're starting to do a little crazy pattern. Alright, so you're kind of rounding off your edges here. So go around and consistently hold that parallel or a little bit of a bevel all the way around. Clean up your edge. So it's a sharper edge.
Right.
And then you actually, for the most part, that's looking pretty good. You still got a little bit of scratches out on here, but it'll clean up.
Okay.
It's good enough. Just ready to go around. That's going to be a big difference factor how nice the dome looks back. See how the shape already looks a little bit better?
Yeah, for sure. Looks like there might be just a little flat spot.
That's okay. It'll come out.
Okay.
Alright, this is going to be the most important step to make sure that the cab looks good before we move on here. My scratches are fairly consistent from the 220 grit wheel. If you got big, where they'll look like white streaks, that's going to be 80 grit scratches that you still need to take out. One way I can check to make sure that I've removed all the scratches from the last wheel is if I take this back to the 220 grit wheel and I do it the other direction, and if all the scratches change directions, I know those scratches are from the 220 grit wheel, and I can move on. So now I'm going to move on to the 220 grit expanding wheel. This is a soft wheel, so this is, even though they're the same grit, it will cut a lot different than the 220 grit plated. Alright, pretty much done on the 220 grit. We got some minor scratches left from the 220, but again, I can change directions with those scratches if I turn the stone. So I know that those are just being left by this 220 grit wheel. So now we can move on to 600. So don't do a crazy, like all over the place pattern, because then you have no idea where you've worked. Still work in rings. Just don't do as big of a ring as you're doing right now. That's why I think you're getting impatient when you're building a crazy pattern, because you're not methodically working.
Yeah, methodical is my challenge. I understand. Alright, what do you think?
What's that?
It looks like there's a big flat spot in the middle to me.
The reason it looks that way is because you just got excited and started tapering your edges off a lot, and you have a shallow dome in the middle.
Okay. So that was when I was like, just like
getting excited.
Okay.
So to fix this one, do big motions. I'm going to press it. And this will make, like I'm pushing pretty decent on the wheel right now, because I'm trying to make that dome consistent all the way across. And you kind of have two different domes going.
Yeah, my old one and the new one.
These have been really shallow motions.
Uh-huh.
Alright, dry that off. Let's see how that looks. Still got a little bit right there.
Okay, so as Zeke mentioned, I got a little excited on the 220 grit wheel and started kind of reverting to my old ways. And because I did that, I ended up with a very steep outer ridge and a very low dome in the middle, which made it look like a flat spot. So Zeke came and rescued me. I think we're going to move on now to polish. Use the same basic circular motion.
Pretty much. I'm very much repeating the same process over and over and over again. I'm not doing as much of a circle because this is a very sharp looking piece. But if it was more rounded, then I would do bigger circles. After you get your scratches out at the 600 grit and your cab looks really good, you really don't need to do a lot of checking. You can pretty much, as long as you're covering the whole first surface of the stone, you'll be good from there. And then yeah, that's pretty much done. Just got to buff it with the cerium.
There we go. Ooh, that's pretty. Very shiny. Wow. That's pretty.
That is pretty.
That's before and after.
Like if I get bored, I'll start doing that too. So you got to remember to like stay focused on acting and completing the process, and you'll get to a point where you don't need to think about it. You just do it. But it takes a lot of focus on repeating the same pattern over and over and over again.
Okay, check that out.
You also spend a lot less time on each tab if you're doing everything like this.
Right in the center there.
It's a little greasy bug that you're just grinding down to the end.
Okay. Just making sure that it was not something that was a scratch.
No, that's just part of the stone.
Alright, cool.
Now, on your edges here, because you got a little excited on the 220 grip, you still have a little bit of edge there that's not getting as polished.
Okay.
So you need to work just this outer edge just a little bit more, and then you need to go around to your girdle a couple times, and then you can move on. They were just, whatever piece I had, I just cranked them out. I wasn't really thinking about my polish. And once I started creating, once you get past the 220 grit, it's pretty much all uphill from there. Or downhill.
Okay, one more. Here we go. I'm not. I have ordered one of these. Really shiny. We still have to put the cerium on it. So you start doing this.
There's also too much water on there.
It's just a lot of.
I usually stand this like that one's sticking out further, so it's.
It's very wet, and I'm getting cerium splash. Whoa! glad that didn't break in
That's
half.
it for that one.
That's actually a good hard stone.
Oh, thank heavens. That would have been just the typical end to my little adventure. Zeke actually said we were going to do this so it would be less likely to throw the stone because we could slow it way down. You can see how effective that was. Because
The wet belt sander is a lot more grippy on the leather.
it's me. It's just me. All right, let's see how we did. A lot of cerium still on there. Time to stand. I've been standing. Hey,
It wasn't before. But
this is beautiful, Zeke. Look at that. I still
You did
have
a good job.
I still have a little that it was that vug right in the center just is really giving me problems, but look how shiny it is. And I have to say, even though I screwed up the edges, it still is probably the nicest cab I ever made.
You
So
did good.
I
It's beautiful.
definitely am going to use that technique, and hopefully my cabs will be a little nicer now.
Well, just remember to do it with a purpose.
Oh, do it with no screwing around. You can't just like randomly move stuff. You have to have. You can't just like sit there and go screwing around and get into the place. So yeah, wow. Well, thank
Good
you.
job.
That was great. Well, thank you, Zeke, very much. Zeke from Highland Park Lapidary is an excellent teacher, even though he is just a young thing. So, thanks for coming along. I hope you learned something. All right, this is Kate from Katie Did. Keep on doing. This is Kate from Katie Did.
Just keep on doing.
Oh, you would say keep on doing.
Oh, keep on doing.
All right, so this is Kate from Katie Did, and then we'll say keep on doing. Right?
So, just say it again.
This is Kate from Katie Did, and then we
Keep
both
on doing.
say keep on doing.
Okay, all right.
All right.